Today has been a very nice day. It's really nice outside. It's sunny and warm. It's finally starting to feel like spring, and I had an interview for a position in a research lab and I was accepted into the lab, so I'm really excited about that. But today's video is going to be an unboxing for Boxycharm. This is actually the March box, which I know is like a rose themed, and if you've watched some of my previous videos, I love rose scented things and I love rose gold and rose things in general, so I think I'm going to be pretty excited about this box. So let's just jump right into it. So first thing that I see, of course, is the card, and it says La Vie en Rose. This is what it looks like. It's really pretty. And on the back has all of the things that I got. And today I'm going to do similar to my most recent Ipsy video, where I actually try on all of the products on my face and use them. And so we're going to go in order of the things that I would use first. And so the first thing in the box, and the first thing that I'm going to use, is the Wander Beauty Lift Off Purifying and Brightening Peel Off Mask. The size is 2.02 ounces or 60 milliliters, so that's a pretty good size amount of product. This is what it looks like. It's a really nice pink packaging with a little gold top. It doesn't smell like roses. It kind of smells like lemons, but like a chemical lemon. Like, it has that chemically scent that a lot of mask products, and especially peel-off products, have that type of scent. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is, first of all, pull my hair back and put my headband on like I would for a normal mask. The headband that I'm using, if anybody's interested, is from Lululemon. I don't know the name of the headband, but it's one of the thicker ones, which I like, and I think it's a pretty good headband. Okay, so I'm just going to continue putting this on, and then in 10 to 15 minutes, however long it takes for it to dry, I will come back and we'll see what it does. Okay, so it has been about 15 minutes and the mask has completely dry. It's funny because it's like very similar to the mask that I did on my last video in my Ipsy bag. It has like, it's the peel off mask, it has like the same qualities, and it looks very similar. It has this like metallic look to it. It makes me feel like a robot or something. It's pretty funny. But as we can see, it is completely dried. One of the things that I did notice while I was applying it is that it was a very thin mask, and so I had to do multiple layers to try and get it thick enough, and I'm still a little bit worried that it might not be thick enough and it might hurt me pulling it off, which I'm worried about, because I know when Kathleen Lights did her Boxycharm box and she put the mask on, it hurt her ripping it off because it wasn't thick enough, and I tried my best to make it thick enough, but it still feels like it's not, and I can't even like find a spot to start tearing it off at. So we'll see how this works. I might have to like pull off as much as I can, and then if it hurts me, I'll rinse off the rest. Oh gosh. Alright, so that didn't hurt too bad, but this part over here is starting to hurt. It's all come off, not too terrible, not great though. But I'm gonna go and just take off these last little pieces. I'm just gonna use my mask scrubber and scrub those off before I move on to the next product. Okay, so I have rinsed off, scrubbed off all of the last remaining bits of the mask, and it feels like a little bit burning. It's not painful, but it just kind of has like a little bit of a burning sensation, which isn't bad. I think that my face might be a little bit irritated, probably just from pulling it off. It just kind of pulled on my skin a little bit on my cheek area and was a little bit painful, but it wasn't terrible. I think that my skin does look brighter. It feels smoother. I think that it has evened out my skin pretty well. And so overall, I think it's pretty good. Maybe just not, make sure that you have a thick enough layer of it before you peel it off. Otherwise, I'm sure it will be pretty painful. But it retails for $34, which is pretty expensive, especially because I feel like this looks like it would be a lot, but if you use enough for it to not hurt when you peel it off, I feel like it would only get you like 5 uses, which is like $7 a use, which is pretty expensive when you think about it. So I'm hoping that it has some real payoff once I continue to use it more. But the next products from the box that I'm going to use are kind of 2-in-1. First are these brushes that I'm going to use to apply this palette. So these brushes are Moda Powder and Soft Glow, excellent for wet and dry product, waterproof metallic handle, sturdy aluminum ferrule, secures bristles, okay, professional quality fibers. So these are, it comes with 2 brushes, one for powder and one for like highlight, and these retail for $29.99. And then I'm going to use them with this palette, which is a face palette by CoverFX, and it retails for $45. It is the Perfector face palette, and I got mine in the light medium shade. So this is what it looks like. I was like, the mirror is weird, but it has a film on it. So this is what it looks like. It comes with a contour, a blush, 2 highlighters, a brightener, and a finishing powder. But this is, okay, when I watched Kathleen's video, she talked about how weird this is, and I think it's weird too. The finishing powder, it's not matte at all. I mean, it's matte with sparkles, which, I don't know, doesn't make sense to me. I probably won't use it very much unless I use it to like, on my chest or on my collarbones or something, if I'm like at a festival or I don't know, something like that. So I'm not going to be using that today. What I am going to be using is the contour, the blush, the highlight, and then the brightener on my eyes. This is what the brushes look like. They're very pretty. This one, they're both this like kind of metallic almost, like shiny pink color, rosy color, and they're very soft. Wow, they're very pretty brushes. They're both this kind of pinky, very shiny kind of metallic color. A rose obviously fits with the theme, and they're very soft. I like them a lot. So I'm not sure. This one I guess I'll use for contour, even though it's more of a powder brush. I'm going to use it for contour. And then this one I'll probably use for blush and highlight. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to start with the contour. And I didn't put any foundation or anything on. Oh wow. So right off the bat, I barely patted the brush into the product, and a lot of it came off. And it does seem to have a little bit of fallout, not too bad, but even just like little pats into it, and it is having some fallout. So this might be maybe a little bit too dark for me right at this moment. I haven't self-tanned in quite a while, and it's not summertime, so I'm pretty pale at the moment. But I think that if I blend it out well enough, it'll work. And I think it's pretty good so far. It seems like when I first put it on, it had like a lot of pigment to it, and now it's kind of hard to see. I mean, maybe that's what what this is, like, this type is supposed to do. Maybe it wants it to be more natural. We're gonna put some down here on my chin line. It definitely feels pretty good. I think that if you like powder blushes and powder highlights and powder contour, that this would be a palette that you would enjoy. So there is the contour, and I feel like it is kind of hard to tell, honestly. A lot of times I really don't enjoy wearing foundation, and I really very rarely do. And so if I'm going to have products, I would like them to work without needing foundation. But I still feel like, I mean, maybe it warmed me up a little bit, but I still feel like it did not show up as much as I would like a contour to do. But anyway, there's the contour. Now we're gonna go with the blush. Watch the blush be like super, super out there and show up a lot. So I'm gonna use the little kind of tapered highlighter brush, and again, there is some definite fallout. I do think that this shows up quite a bit more than the contour, but I do think it's a very pretty color. I think that it works for light to medium skin tones, and I think that it will work when I'm paler like I am right now, and then also when I'm tanner in the summer, or when I'm self-tanned. I think that it'll give a nice pinky glow. I'm not a huge fan of peach colors, so I'm glad that this one is more of a pink color, more of a rose color, just like it should be. So once again, it is pretty subtle. I think that I can see it. I think it's not showing up as well on camera. I can definitely see it more, but it just kind of gives like a little, like a flustered, rosy look to my cheeks. So now I'm gonna put on the highlighter on my cheeks, and the one that I'm gonna use is this one right here. It's the one above the blush. It's kind of more of a rose gold tint to it, and I think it'll work well with what I've got going on. So we'll see. So we'll see how it comes off. So this one does not have as much fallout. It's kind of hard to tell if I'm even getting it on my brush, and putting it on, it seems to have a very, very subtle glow. There we go. So there you can kind of see it. I actually like it quite a lot. I like the subtle glows, especially for more everyday or day-to-day looks. I think they work better, and I think that they're just more practical to have because I will use them more in everyday looks, or more often than I would something that's like super blaring or super blinding. So that's what that one looks like. I think it's quite pretty. And I like the blush and the contour. I'm not sure, we'll have to keep playing around with it. So I'm just going to use one of my Lexi brushes to put the brightener in the corner of my eye, and this brush is Lexi 213 and it says eye shading. So I'm just going to put the brightener in the corners of my eyes, and I noticed that it is quite a bit more pigmented and a lot more comes off. I was expecting to need to take a lot of product out to get the effect that I want, because that's what I had to do for everything else in the palette. But it is a white colored brightener, and I think that it looks pretty good on the inner corners and would also be good as a brow bone highlight. And I'm sure if you wanted a white highlighter, you could also use it on your cheeks and everywhere else. But overall, I think it's a pretty good palette. I don't use these types of products necessarily every day, so I think that it'll last me a good amount of time, and for $45 getting a palette like this I think is really good to have in a $20 monthly box. Okay, so the next product that I have here is an eye product, and it says Appeal Liquid Eyeshadow. This is in the shade Rose Gold, which doesn't make sense to me because this does not look rose gold. It looks gold or like bronze, but definitely not rose gold, so I don't know about that. But it has, oh wow, it has a very interesting applicator. It's like a, almost like a nail polish type of brush, not like a doe foot, but interesting. So I'm going to use my Cover FX mirror that I got in this palette, and we're going to apply this to my lid and see how it works. Oh wow. So if you apply this like just straight on your lid, it is super pigmented. Let me just see if I can get up close and show you how pigmented that is, because it's a liquid eyeshadow, so it's going to be really pigmented. So if you wanted to use this as like an eyeliner on your upper lid, I think that would be really pretty. But what I'm going to do is just put a little bit on and then blend it out onto my entire lid. It is pretty. I would probably use a eyeshadow underneath of it. One thing that I don't like is that a lot of product does come off a lot on my finger instead of being spread around easily on my eyelid. You can see that a lot of product has come off on my finger from applying it. But I think that it's kind of subtle, but still being very sparkly and pretty. Definitely not rose gold, however, even after I applied it, I would say it's still just gold, but I think it is really pretty, and I think that it would be nice if you're traveling and you don't want to bring a whole palette or a whole lot of brushes, because you can just apply this with your fingers and the applicator. So I think I'll get some use out of this, and I think that it'll last me a pretty long time because it's a full-size product like everything else. And it retails for $21, which is pretty good considering this is like technically like one eyeshadow. The last product I'm going to use is the long-lasting lipstick from Ofra, and this is in the shade Monaco. It's this, I would consider rose gold type of shade, and it does have like the reflex in it, and this retails for $20. So we're going to see how this looks on my lips. They're a little bit chapped, so I don't know if it's gonna look super great. I need to do a sugar scrub or something. It smells like cake batter. Wow, this is actually really pretty. I really like the color of it, and I don't own any lipsticks or any type of lip product that looks like this. I'm not totally sure how I feel about the like metallic-y aspect of it, but I think it would be good for some looks. So you can see it's very metallic-y. It has a nice rose gold color to it. I like it. Probably not something that I'm going to reach for a lot, but maybe for specific looks, for fancier things, kind of more out there looks, I would use it for. But anyway, those are all of the products in the bag. I think overall it was a good deal. I think that it retailed for like $150 everything together, and the box is like $22 a month, so I think overall it's a good deal. I'm sure that I'll use most of the products. The only one that I would see myself maybe not using or using the least would be the lipstick. But brushes, I can always use brushes, I can always use eyeshadows, always use masks. So I'm pretty excited to use these products more and to see how much I like them as I use them more and more. And anyway, that is all for today's video. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.